yet it's different, and yeah, so it's, in a way, it's the same thing with love. There's something so familiar about it, and then every time you see your beloved, there's something fresh, beautiful, that you find beautiful in them. But it wasn't always this easy for people. So if you can imagine the world perhaps being the other way around, imagine for a moment that we lived in a society where being straight was illegal and frowned upon, and being gay was the norm. How odd your life would have been growing up, whether you were on this side of the spectrum or the other side of the spectrum. If you were gay, what would it have been like to be the norm, to see yourself in magazines, in TV programs, on Netflix, and not have to question that what you felt was normal? And if you were straight, and you were interested in somebody of the opposite sex, and you had all this lifetime of baggage to carry. So people in 2020 have baggage to carry, but 100 odd years ago, they were chucked in jail, or they were burnt at the stake. So we're going to do the famous letter that Oscar Wilde wrote to his lover while he was in prison. And it's the strangest thing to consider that somebody was thrown in jail, potentially for life, simply because they loved somebody. And it's also extraordinary that somebody would love that much that they would not be able to renounce their love, despite this incredible punishment. So I think his name was Bosie, is that right? Bosie's Lord Alfred Douglas Bosie. The father of Bosie is actually the person that got Oscar Wilde thrown in jail, because he thought if he got rid of Wilde, he would get rid of the wild side in his child. And of course it didn't work, But through a long, complicated process, you have to watch quite a few Netflix documentaries to catch all of that. But Oscar Wilde eventually did make it out of prison, and Bosie unfortunately dumped him eventually. So he was the love of Oscar's life, but unfortunately it wasn't quite the other way around. And such is life. But the wonderful thing about this is that we have these incredible works of art created by Oscar Wilde, in which his pain and his longing and his questioning gives us an opportunity to mirror our modern society and ask ourselves, what if that was me, and what if we lived in an upside-down world?
My sweet rose, my delicate flower, my lily of lilies. It is perhaps in prison that I am going to test the power of love. I am going to see if I cannot make the bitter waters sweet by the intensity of the love I bear you. I have had moments when I thought it would be wise to separate, moments of weakness and madness. Now I see that would have mutilated my life, ruined my art, broken the musical chords which make a perfect soul. Even covered with mud, I shall praise you. From the deepest abysses, I shall cry to you. In my solitude, you will be with me. I am determined not to revolt, but to accept every outrage through devotion to love, to let my body be dishonored so long as my soul may always keep the image of you. From your silken hair to delicate feet, you are perfection to me. Pleasure hides love from us, but pain reveals it in its essence. O dearest of created things, if someone wounded by silence and solitude comes to you, dishonored and a laughing stock, oh, you can close his wounds by touching them and restore his soul which unhappiness had for a moment smothered. Nothing will be difficult for you then. And remember, it is that hope which makes me live, and that hope alone. What wisdom is to the philosopher, what God is to a saint, you are to me. To keep you in my soul, such is the goal of this pain which men call life. Oh, my love, you whom I cherish above all things, white Narcissus in an unmown field, think of the burden which falls to you, a burden which love alone can make light. I love you. I love you. My heart is a rose which your love has brought to bloom. My life is a desert fanned by the delicious breeze of your breath, and whose cool spring are your eyes. The imprint of your little feet make valleys of shade for me, and the odor of your hair is like myrrh, and wherever you go, you exhale the perfumes of the cassia tree. Love me always. Love me always. You have been the supreme, the perfect love of my life. There can be no other.